Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing the first ever daily logic puzzle that I can find anyway on the website Puzzle Duel. This type of logic puzzle is called Tapa, and it's a little bit complicated, but I think I've managed to make sense of it now after reading it for a bit. So what we have to do, and it's maybe easier if we go into this sort of example puzzle, what we have to do here, see, as you can see, I tried playing around with it. Let's just restart. Okay. If I restart, okay, no, it just restarts from there. Okay, there we go. So it restarts at the same time. I thought it was going to reset the time. But essentially, how this works is every single cell is either shaded in black or essentially not shaded. So I guess you can just use this kind of crosshair to represent not shaded. You're not allowed to have any 2x2 squares completely shaded in black. So this kind of thing is obviously not allowed. That's just forbidden by the rules. And the numbers in the sort of numbered cells indicate the length of consecutive shaded blocks in the neighboring cells. So for this cell here, the neighboring cells are these kind of 8 cells here. And of those 8 cells, essentially, well, this is a bit more complicated because it says 2 and 3. Let me just go to one cell, a more easy clue. So this cell here says 4, for example. So if we look at these, in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 neighboring cells, then what this 4 tells us is that 4 of these 5 neighboring cells have to be shaded in black. So it might be these 4, it might be these 4, but they have to form a connected region, essentially. So they have to be consecutive shaded blocks. So you wouldn't be able to have something like this, for example, right? Because those 4 would not be connected, okay? Even though there's 4 neighboring blocks which are black, or 4 neighboring cells which are black, in this case they're not connected. They don't form a consecutive kind of... They're not consecutive, so that wouldn't be a valid kind of solution to this particular clue. So there you go. So that's this kind of single numbers. What about these when you have sort of more than one number? Then when you have more than one number, you're still looking at these kind of 8 cells surrounding that sort of numbered cell. But you need to this time have a gap between the 2 and the 3. So for example, you could have these 2 and then a gap. So, and then 1, 2, 3 like this, for example. So you have 2 neighboring cells which are consecutive and are black, a gap, and then you have 3. Okay, and then another gap. So that's kind of what it means. It means that around this particular cell, there are 3 shaded black cells, some gap, and then 2 shaded black cells. But there can't be something like this, because even though that's still like 2 and 3 technically, because there's just 5 shaded cells, they're not separated by anything, right? They form one connected region. This 2 and 3 means there has to be 2 connected regions around that one cell. The first one containing 2 consecutive blacks, and the second one containing 3. So there we go. Okay, so that's this type of puzzle. And without further ado, let's get into the actual puzzle for today. So let's go. Okay, interesting. So first things first, we have 1 and 1 here. So there's only there's only one way to kind of satisfy that, right? Because these cells here cannot be shaded in. Like, the cells with numbers on them can't be shaded in. So the only way to satisfy 1, 1, there's only 2 neighboring cells here anyway, so it has to be this and this, right? And then the gap is this cell here. So that makes sense. And then here you have to have 3 and 3. I mean, the only way for that to happen is to have... There's only 6 neighboring cells, so they all must be black, essentially, right? Because 3 plus 3 is 6. And so if there's 6 neighboring cells, they all have to be black. Because what this is telling us is that there's 3 black cells surrounding this clued cell, followed by a gap, which is this cell, followed by another 3, which is these 3 black cells here. There we go. So here we have 1, 1, and 3. So how can we do something like that? Well, we could do something like this. We could do a gap here, 1 here, and then these 3 here. That would work. Or I kind of need to undo this kind of correctly so I don't mess this up. Or we could do 3 up here and this sort of thing. There's a couple of ways that we can do that, so we need to be a bit careful now about how we think. Here we need to have 7 out of the 8 neighboring cells being black. So which of those 7 are going to be black? We don't necessarily know just yet. These are all 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 3. I mean, no matter what you do, this cell here is not going to be shaded in, right? Because it's not really neighbouring anything. Oh no, because the black cells need to form... Oh yeah, the other thing is that at the end, I think you need to have... The black cells all need to be connected to one another at the end. So there has to kind of be some connection between all of the black cells. You see how you have right now 3 here and 3 here? They're not connected to each other, so you have to be able to kind of travel horizontally or vertically through the cells to kind of get from here to here at the end of the puzzle. So yeah, that's how we can kind of have this cell being black, for example, because otherwise nothing's touching it, right? So there's that rule as well. Okay. Right, so that makes it a bit more complicated. With this one here, we have to do 1 and 1 and then 3. If I were to do 1 here, take a gap, do a 1 here, take a gap here, and then try and do 3, then I wouldn't be able to have a gap between the 3 and the 1, so that wouldn't work. If I go the other way around, I do 1, 1, and then try and do 3 like this, then the 3 aren't connected, so it doesn't work either. So this can't really be part of the 1. What if we try something like this? So we do 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. But I think then I think that doesn't work. We do 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. So this does work. Yeah, that works. We could also do this as well. I think those are the 2 options here. It's a bit tricky to see what we need to do in advance. Oh, as in like what's... Sorry, what I mean is it's a bit tricky to see what the correct kind of configuration is here. So if this one was white, if this cell here was white, then the rest of these would have to be black. And then you'd have to have here 1, 1, 3 like this. Right, surely, for this specific 1, 1, 3, you'd have to have, because if you were to try and make 3 here, then you would have 8, so that can't work. So the only way that this 1, 1, 3 would be able to work is if you have this, this, and these 3 cells, for example. But then we have a problem with this 1, 1, 3, because now we have 1, 1, 1, 1. So that's not 1, 1, 3. So that's actually... Oh, no, but we can just shade this in. And that's actually okay, I think. Or this, actually. Okay, not as groundbreaking as I thought it was. Should we just try and go through the different possibilities for the 1, 1, 3s? We could try doing that. Because, I mean, what if we have this, for example? The thing is, we could still have this, or we could have it the other way as well. Damn, it's actually really this is actually really tricky for me. This is not supposed to be too difficult either. So we have to have 5 of these 8 cells which are shaded in black. I think there's something to do with the fact that you have to form a single connected region at the end. Like that sort of thing. But I can't really figure out exactly what we need to do here. My cat's coming to say hi. Hello. So all of the black cells need to be connected. Which means what happens if we do something like this? Then how do I connect this black cell? How do I connect to these two black cells, for example, right? Because then I would know that this cell has to be kind of across. So the only way that I can connect those is if that's black. And then that would force this cell to be black as well. Because if this cell's across, you're locked in. Okay. What if we try and do that kind of thing? But instead of assuming it's this, we assume it's this. Then we can't shade this in, so we'd have to shade this in. And this would have to be shaded in as well. So that's already one of the 5. They have to be consecutive, the 5, right? So if they're consecutive, then you kind of know which 5 it can be, right? Isn't it either going to be this, 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 and this? Oh no, actually you don't know, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But whatever consecutive 5 you would do from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, actually, I don't know. That's that is tricky. That is tricky. Yeah, I don't know what we're supposed to really force here. I'm kind of just trying out different things, but I don't know. I mean, should we try and run with the case whereby these 7 are shaded in and this isn't? Because then obviously this becomes forced. So that's nice. And then we have to either shade in this cell here or this cell here. Either really works. I think this cell would also need to be shaded in, because otherwise we'd have problems with this connection. So then, because these two cells are shaded in, the only way to get kind of 1, 1, 3, I think, because there's already 2 here, would be to have this, a gap, and then 1 like this. So that would be forced. But because this is not shaded in and this is not shaded in that circumstance, we need to have this cell being shaded. And this cell also needs to be shaded, because if not, then these blacks can't get to the blacks up there. And the same idea is true with this and this. And also with this cell. Whether this cell is shaded in or not, I don't know. I don't think it matters, really. In that circumstance, whether this cell is shaded in. This cell would have to be shaded in, which means this cell would have to be shaded in. These two cells have to be connected somehow, and you can't go the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I think this has to be shaded in. So then you go 1, 2, 3. It's either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that, so these two cells are shaded in, or it's this and this, or this and this. With a couple of different options here. What we definitely know Well, yeah, here's the thing though, because this cell here, this black cell, is going to be isolated if this isn't shaded in. Because neither is this. So this kind of has to be shaded in, actually. I just clocked. I mean, yeah, this reaches everything, but if that's shaded in, this can't be shaded in, which means that the only way to get to the top would be to go around. Right, because if this isn't shaded in, please, come on. If that cell isn't shaded in, then the only way to do 5 would be this and this, but then you would be locked off with that, right? That wouldn't work. Because you wouldn't be able to connect these cells to the other black cells. So this cell has to be shaded in. And this cell and this cell. As far as I can see, that actually works. Oh, but you're not allowed to have 2 by 2 squares that are shaded in completely. Yeah, which means this cell here can't be black. It would have to be white. This cell here can't be black. It'd have to be white for the 2 by 2 rule. And I don't think there's any other 2 by 2s here which are shaded in. I did forget about that rule, but I think this is a valid solution anyway. In the case where this cell is not included in the 7. There we go. That's a solution. I feel like I got there with a contradiction assuming this cell wasn't part of the 7. The only thing that I'm kind of a bit like... Is there a way to kind of show that that has to not be part of the 7, if you know what I mean? Let me think. So we were here, right? And I was thinking, okay, what if this is included in part of the 7? Then... Well, because the 7 are consecutive, was you have to say that, like... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, there are certain cells which you know have to be black, right? Because from this cell, you need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this cell will be empty and you get these. Or you can go around like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this cell's black. Or, sorry, not black, it's empty. Is there anything else you can do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, yeah, I think you can start with any of them. I think actually any of them could be white if that one's black. So I don't think that's going to be a contradiction, because you could even make this one white, right? You can make any of them white, you just kind of do the surrounding one, so I'm bugging. But if this one's black, then this has to be kind of a 3, because you can't do 1, 1, 3. So if this is black, this has to be a 3 here, actually, doesn't it? Because you can't do 1, 1, 3 that way, so this would have to be 3, and this would have to be 1, 1 like this. But then that's a problem, because this obviously can't be shaded in. It's not immediately a problem. Actually, it is, because how are you going to connect all of this stuff over here to this black cell here? It's just not really possible, right? Because if you wanted to do that, the way that the kind of only ways you can do it are going around like this kind of thing to get to this black cell, and that would take more than 5 of these cells. Actually, maybe not. Maybe you can do it. No, technically speaking, you could do something like this and then get around like that. It's possible. It's definitely possible. It's tricky, but I think it's possible. Let's see if we can try and derive some more contradictions. First things first. Oh yeah, we need this to be 1, 1, 3. It's very difficult to ascertain what the contradiction is with this cell being black. I think it is something to do. I mean, you'd have to know that this cell, surely this cell can't be shaded in, because if that cell is shaded in, then the only kind of path that works as consecutively, this 2, 3, 4, would be these 5, right? 2, 3, 4, 5. And obviously that's not enough to get you down here, which means this would have to be blank and this would have to be blank, so you're kind of trapped. Yeah, so I think that definitely has to be no. Similarly with this, if this was shaded in the only kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't get you around here, so that stuff's all kind of blocked off. So actually, yeah, the 5 blacks there are locked in, aren't they? As these 5. That's the 5 black cells, and that also implies that this cell has to be black, because if it wasn't, then you'd be blocked off, and so does this cell. But this cell right now is blocked off. Like if this isn't black, this cell down here will be blocked off, because like it's not connected to any of the black, so it kind of has to be black. But now we've got a 2x2 which is black. So I think that's a problem. I think that is the required contradiction. Let me know if you have a better way to do it, but I think that works. I think that argument works. But yeah, there we go. So that is the reason why we know what we know really with this puzzle. That's just me going through the arguments. And so we therefore know that this cell cannot be black for that reason, because we produce a contradiction, so it has to be white, and then we get the others being black, and that pretty much kind of led through the entire kind of solving process to the very end. But there we go. Awesome stuff, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.